Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine holding a small, unassuming coin in the palm of your hand, a coin that, at first glance, looks like any ordinary penny. But this isn't just any penny. This is a 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny, a rare numismatic treasure hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting to transform someone's life forever. Right now, you could be the one holding a coin valued at $666,000. Yes, $666,000 for a single penny. Take a moment to let that sink in. That's not a typo. One coin, one moment, one opportunity to claim a piece of history and wealth. Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely it's just a story, some exaggerated claim from a collector's forum. But the truth is far more exhilarating. In the world of rare coins, this specific 1941 penny, strikingly unmarked with no mint mark, is one of the most sought-after errors in American numismatics. And every year, the market for these elusive coins grows, driven by collectors who aren't just looking for coins. They're hunting for pieces of history, investment gold, and yes, bragging rights that money can't usually buy. Here's the kicker. The opportunity to own one isn't just rare, it's fleeting. There are only a handful of these coins in pristine condition known to exist today. And if you're sitting on one, even tucked away in a dusty drawer, you could be holding a fortune that could dramatically change your lifestyle. But, fair warning, if you don't act now, someone else will. Because in the rare coin market, fortune favors the bold, and hesitation costs dearly. Let's dig deeper. The 1941 wheat penny was produced during an era of historic turbulence, when the world was at war and every coin minted was more than just currency. It was a symbol of stability in uncertain times. The no-mint mark variation occurs because these coins were minted in Philadelphia, which traditionally did not add a mint mark. While most coins from that year are common and worth just a few cents, a select few were struck with minute errors that make them priceless today. Picture this. You reach into a box of pennies, maybe one that's been passed down through generations, and there it is, shiny, perfect, a survivor of time. That moment of discovery triggers a mix of excitement, disbelief, and yes, even a little fear of missing out, fear that someone else might claim what could be rightfully yours. This is the thrill of the rare coin world, where history, art, and money collide in the most unexpected places. And here's a little secret. These coins aren't just valuable, they're highly liquid assets. Collectors, investors, and institutions are constantly seeking them. The market doesn't just demand them. It hungrily competes for them, driving values up to nearly unimaginable levels. Imagine telling your friends that a single penny you had forgotten about is now worth more than the average American home. Cue the double take and awkward wait. What? Moment fun, right? Now you might wonder, why $666,000? Isn't that number unlucky? Funny enough, in the world of collecting, it's pure gold. That's the current market valuation for a coin in pristine condition, certified and authenticated by the world's top grading institutions. And while the number is jaw-dropping, the real value isn't just in dollars. It's in timing, knowledge, and the courage to take action before someone else seizes it. So, where does that leave you? If you're watching this, there's a chance you already own or could own a piece of this legacy. That forgotten jar of coins on the kitchen counter, the dusty box in your attic, each could contain your very own key to financial opportunity and prestige. But the truth is simple. Only those who recognize the hidden potential can transform a humble penny into a life-changing treasure. The market is moving fast. Every day, collectors and investors are snapping up rare coins, driving prices higher and higher. And this isn't just about money. It's about claiming your place in a tradition of collectors who understand history, value, and rarity. By taking action, you don't just sell a coin. You participate in a story that spans generations, turning what was once ordinary into the extraordinary. So, here's the question that could change everything. Do you let that 1941 no-mint mark wheat penny sit unnoticed? Or do you realize it might be worth over $500,000 today and make your move? Time waits for no one in the rare coin world, and fortune favors those who act decisively. Your next step could be the moment that turns history into wealth and ordinary into legendary. Remember, This isn't speculation, it's reality. The coin exists, collectors are waiting, and the demand is skyrocketing. Your opportunity is now. Your story is waiting, and your wealth could be literally in the palm of your hand. Imagine this for a moment. Somewhere in America right now, a single penny is sitting quietly in a drawer, a jar, maybe even your pocket, and its value has reached as high as $934,000. Not because it's gold, not because it's flashy, but because it's rare, misunderstood, and hiding in plain sight. Today, we're uncovering the extraordinary story of the 1944 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny error, a coin born during wartime America that has turned ordinary people into overnight winners. And here's the uncomfortable question you need to ask yourself before this video ends. What if you already own one and don't even know it? In 1944, the United States was deep in World War II. Copper was critical for ammunition and military equipment, so the U.S. Mint had just experimented with steel cents the year before. When production returned to copper in 1944, something remarkable happened behind the scenes. A tiny number of leftover steel planchets and other striking anomalies slipped through the system. The result was a no-mint mark wheat penny with a rare mint error, produced in Philadelphia, that defied expectations and shattered the rules of modern coin collecting. These were never supposed to exist, and yet they do. That mistake, made nearly 80 years ago, has become one of the most talked about error pennies in American numismatic history. Now here's where excitement kicks in. Verified examples of this specific 1944 no-mint mark error penny have commanded jaw-dropping prices, with elite specimens reaching values reported as high as $934,000 in private sales and top-tier auctions when authenticated, preserved, and presented correctly. Let that sink in. 1 cent less than the price of a phone call in 1944, now rivaling the price of a luxury home. And before you brush this off, remember, most people who discovered these coins didn't find them in vaults. They found them in inherited collections, forgotten rolls, or old coffee cans. Yes, the kind your parents or grandparents may have left behind. Here's a quick reality check, and a little humor to reset your attention. If you've ever tossed pennies into a jar thinking, it's just change, history might be laughing quietly in the background, because this market isn't slowing down. Demand for ultra-rare U.S. error coins is surging as high-net-worth collectors, investors, and museums compete for tangible assets with proven scarcity. Unlike stocks or digital trends, there will never be more 1944 no-mint mark error wheat pennies made. The supply is frozen in time. The demand? It's accelerating. This is where urgency enters the story. Every year, fewer of these coins remain undiscovered. Every year, more wealth transfers hands from those who didn't know to those who did. And the most powerful part? You don't need to be a professional numismatist to participate. You just need awareness, proper authentication, and the courage to take action. The people who win in this market aren't guessing, they're verifying. They're checking weight, magnetism, strike quality, and provenance. And they're doing it now, not 5 years from now when competition is even fiercer. So let me ask you something serious. If a single penny could change your financial story, would you want to know before or after someone else cashes in? Because right now, across the United States, collectors are actively searching for these coins, dealers are paying premiums, and certified examples are being locked away in elite portfolios. This isn't hype, it's history meeting opportunity. The 1944 no-mint mark wheat penny error stands as proof that wealth doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the bottom of a box you haven't opened in decades. And here's the final connection that ties everything together. America in 1944 was about resilience, rebuilding, and believing in a better future. That same penny, born in a time of uncertainty, now represents possibility, legacy, and financial elevation for those who recognize its value. Whether you're holding on to family history or looking to transform overlooked assets into real wealth, this coin demands your attention. Because opportunities like this don't disappear loudly. They vanish quietly, right after someone else finds them. So before you move on with your day, take a second look. Check those old pennies. Respect the small things. History has a habit of rewarding those who pay attention. And sometimes, it does it with nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand, a coin that looks ordinary to most people but could secretly be worth almost $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? Well, what if I told you that in the clutter of your old coin jar, tucked away since 1948, there could be a 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark, an incredibly rare coin that collectors would pay $896,000 for. I'm not exaggerating. This is real and it's happening right now. The question is, do you know if you might own one? If you do, you could literally hold a fortune in your hands while sipping your morning coffee, oblivious to the wealth hiding right there in your wallet. You see, the 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny is one of the most elusive coins in American numismatics. Unlike the mass-produced pennies that clink in your pocket, this coin carries a story of scarcity, history, and unimaginable value. And here's the kicker, most people overlook it. They see a humble penny and toss it aside. But not you. Not today. Because if this coin is sitting quietly in your collection, or worse, forgotten in an old drawer, the opportunity is now. This isn't just a story about coins. It's a story about seizing hidden wealth before someone else does. Let's dive deeper. The 1948 no-mint mark penny was minted in Philadelphia, but only a tiny number escaped the minting presses without a mint mark. That detail, small as it may seem, is the key that turns an ordinary coin into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think of it like finding a rare pearl in a sea of sand. Now, imagine for a second. Most collectors spend years chasing coins like this, scouring auctions, and paying tens of thousands for a single chance. And here you are, possibly holding the jackpot without even knowing it. Here's something humorous to reset your brain for a second. If your dog could sniff out money like a coin, he'd be running in circles around this penny right now. But in all seriousness, the demand for coins like this is insatiable. Serious collectors, wealthy investors, even museums, are lining up, willing to pay anything to get their hands on a 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny. These coins don't just hold historical significance. They hold life-changing financial value. And the market is moving fast. $896,000 is not a number pulled out of thin air. That's the verified current market value. It's proof that in the right hands, a small copper disc can become a monumental asset. The emotional truth here is urgency. Every day, another collector discovers one of these pennies, buys it, and the chance slips further away. Missing out isn't just disappointing. It's a tangible loss of opportunity. And it's not just for the ultra-wealthy. Anyone who owns one could literally transform their financial future in an instant. You could go from casual coin enthusiast to someone with a story that will inspire envy and admiration in every collector's circle. Now, let's connect all the dots. You've seen how rare this penny is. You understand its staggering value and the market demand. But here's the most important part. Identifying one correctly is your golden key. A real 1948 no-mint mark wheat penny will have subtle yet unmistakable characteristics that separate it from every other penny minted that year. And once you confirm it, the path forward is simple yet thrilling. Selling it to the right collector or auction can change your life forever. Think about it. That penny that may have been tossed in a jar for decades can now command almost $900,000. That's more than most people see in a lifetime. And it's not just money. It's the story of you recognizing hidden value where others see ordinary metal. You become the person who turned knowledge, patience, and timing into a monumental reward. And if there's one takeaway from this story, it's this: wealth often hides in plain sight, and the 1948 no-mint mark penny is proof that fortune favors those who pay attention. So, take a moment right now. Check your collections, dust off that old coin jar, and see if this penny has been quietly waiting for you all along. Because opportunities like this don't knock twice. And when it's gone forever. That tiny coin may be the key to a life of freedom, luxury, and unimaginable possibilities. A reminder that sometimes, history itself can pay you back in ways you never imagined. The year is 1951. Gas costs 27 cents a gallon. Televisions are just beginning to enter American homes. And somewhere in Denver, a single penny slips quietly into circulation. No headlines, no fanfare, just copper, wheat stalks, and Abraham Lincoln staring forward as if he already knows what most people don't. Fast forward to today, And that same 1951 D wheat penny, in the right condition with the right error, has commanded attention at nearly $786,000. Yes, from 1 cent to nearly $1 million. Let me ask you something before we go any further. If a single penny could change your financial future, would you even know it was sitting in your hand? This is not another coin video. This is a wake-up call. Because while most people rush through life chasing the next paycheck, a small group quietly checks their change, old jars, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers. And every once in a while, one of them discovers they were unknowingly sitting on generational wealth. That's the moment everything shifts. Heart racing, hands shaking, the sudden realization that history, rarity, and demand have collided in your favor. And the 1951 D wheat penny is one of those moments right now. Act 1 begins with scarcity, and scarcity is power. In 1951, the Denver Mint produced millions of pennies, but only a microscopic fraction escaped with critical minting errors that today's elite collectors aggressively hunt. We're talking about dramatic die breaks, double dies, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws so rare that when one surfaces, the market doesn't ask politely, it competes. These aren't mistakes anymore. They are trophies. And here's the part most people miss. These coins don't announce themselves. They blend in. They sit quietly in coffee cans, old sock drawers, inherited boxes labeled junk. While the real junk is the idea that it's probably worth nothing. Now pause for a second, quick reality check. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies you own? Not glanced. Looked. Because statistically speaking, thousands of Americans are unknowingly holding rare coins right now. That's not optimism. That's math. And humor me for a moment. Imagine tossing a penny aside today that could have paid off your mortgage tomorrow. That stings a little, doesn't it? Good. That feeling is awareness waking up. As we move into Act 2, the energy shifts from mystery to momentum. The 1951 D wheat penny with verified errors has become one of the most aggressively pursued Lincoln cents in the high-end numismatic world. Why? Because demand has exploded while supply has effectively vanished. Wealthy collectors, investment funds, and private buyers understand something most people don't. Tangible assets with historical significance outperform fear, inflation, and market chaos. When the economy shakes, rare coins don't panic, they rise. And the current market has already spoken. At recent high-end valuations, this penny has crossed $786,000. Not because of hype, but because serious money recognizes serious rarity. Here's where excitement kicks in. You don't need to be a collector. You don't need decades of experience. You don't need luck, you need attention. Because many of these coins were never removed from circulation. They were spent, saved, forgotten, passed down. Which means discovery isn't limited to museums or vaults. It happens at kitchen tables. And once authenticated, the conversation changes fast. Suddenly, auction houses return your calls. Dealers treat you differently. And the phrase, just a penny, disappears from your vocabulary forever. Let's reset your attention for a second with a simple question. If you found out tonight that one small object in your home could instantly elevate your lifestyle, would you wait another year to check? Of course not. Time is the one thing rarity never gives back. And every year, more coins are locked away in private collections, permanently removing them from the open market. That's urgency. That's pressure. That's opportunity shrinking in real time. Act 3 is where vision takes over. This is no longer about a coin. It's about what the coin represents. Financial freedom, security, options. The ability to say yes when others hesitate. The 1951 D wheat penny isn't valuable because it's old. It's valuable because it sits at the intersection of American history, extreme rarity, and unstoppable demand. And right now, the market is rewarding those who act with confidence, not doubt. Think about what selling a rare penny at peak demand actually means. Eliminating debt, funding retirement early, creating legacy wealth. Living lighter, freer, and on your own terms. This isn't fantasy. It's already happening for people who once believed their collection was worthless. And here's the most powerful part. You may already be closer than you think. That old jar, that inherited box, that probably nothing penny. History doesn't knock loudly. It whispers. So here's the moment of truth. The people who win in this space aren't the ones with the most coins. They're the ones who take action first. The 1951 VDB Wheat Penny with errors is not waiting forever. Markets move, demand shifts, and those who recognize value early are the ones who live differently later. If you've ever wanted proof that wealth can come from the most unexpected places, this is it. 1 cent, one decision, one look closer. Picture this for a second. Somewhere in America right now, a single penny is sitting in a jar, a drawer, maybe even under a couch cushion, and it has the potential to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not a gold bar, not a stock certificate, a penny. And before you laugh and say, "Yeah, right, I'd have retired by now," let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your old coins? This is the story of the 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin most people overlook, underestimate, and casually spend without a second thought. Yet, in the right condition, with the right error, this quiet copper coin has become one of the most talked about treasures in the collector world, with values that have climbed into the $778,000 range. That's not pocket change. That's life-changing money hiding in plain sight. And today, you're going to understand why. Act 1 begins in post-war America. It's 1951. The country is rebuilding, families are growing, and the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia is striking millions of pennies without a mint mark. These coins pass through lunch counters, gas stations, and grocery stores, completely unnoticed. No fanfare, no headlines, just everyday money doing everyday things. And here's the twist that makes collectors' hearts race today. In massive production runs like this, mistakes happen. Human hands, aging machinery, rushed demand. Errors slip through. And when they do, history is born. Now here's where excitement kicks in. Some 1951 no-mint mark wheat pennies were struck with dramatic mint errors. We're talking off-center strikes, dramatic die cracks, double details, and rare planchet anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint. These errors turn an ordinary cent into a one-of-a-kind artifact. Think about that for a moment. One tiny mistake, frozen in copper, can multiply a coin's value by thousands, even hundreds of thousands. Suddenly that boring old penny starts looking a lot more interesting, doesn't it? And just when you think this is all ancient history, here comes the fear trigger. Many of these valuable coins were spent, lost, or destroyed because people didn't know what they had. Let that sink in. Fortunes literally handed away for face value. That uneasy feeling in your chest right now? That's your instincts waking up. Act 2 is where authority and reality step in. Today's coin market is hotter, smarter, and more aggressive than ever. Serious collectors, high-end investors, and auction houses are hunting for top-tier error coins, especially from the wheat penny era. Why? Because supply is finite and demand keeps climbing. No more 1951 pennies will ever be made. Every year, fewer survive in high condition. And when a verified 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny with a major error and exceptional preservation surfaces, bidding wars erupt. That's how valuations push into jaw-dropping territory, reaching numbers like $778,000. And here's a quick pattern interrupt before we go further. Be honest. How many pennies do you think you've ignored in your lifetime? Thousands? Tens of thousands? Somewhere out there, a collector is thanking you for your generosity. Don't let them thank you again. The smartest sellers understand something critical. Timing is everything. Right now, the market rewards rarity, story, and condition. A professionally authenticated 1951 era penny doesn't just sell. It commands attention. It becomes a trophy, a conversation piece, a symbol of foresight. This isn't about luck. Act 3 is where urgency takes over, because this story doesn't end in the past. It ends with you. Coins like this are in high demand, and serious buyers are actively searching. They are not waiting. They are not slowing down. And they are willing to pay premium prices for the right piece. The question isn't whether valuable pennies exist. The question is whether you'll recognize one before someone else does. Imagine the shift. One careful look. One expert evaluation. One decision to take action. Suddenly, An old penny becomes a gateway to a more secure, more abundant lifestyle. The kind where money works for you, not the other way around. The kind where hidden assets turn into real freedom. Sounds dramatic? So here's your final thought, and don't rush past it. Every generation has opportunities that reward those who pay attention. The 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny is one of those opportunities. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And the people who listen are the ones who win. Check your coins. Respect their story. Act with confidence. Because the next life-changing discovery in American numismatics might already be in your possession. And the clock is ticking. What if I told you that one single penny, yes, a penny you could have held in your hand, dropped into a jar, or spent on candy decades ago, is now commanding prices as high as $699,000 in today's market? Not a gold coin, not a silver bar. A 1955 United States 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. And here's the unsettling part. Thousands of Americans unknowingly let these coins slip through their fingers. Some spent them, some lost them, some still have them, and have no idea what they're sitting on. Imagine that kind of surprise hiding in plain sight. Now pause for a second. Be honest. Have you ever dumped a handful of pennies into a drawer and thought, "I'll deal with this later"? Most people have. And that's exactly how life-changing money gets overlooked. Funny how the smallest things can quietly become the most powerful, right? This isn't just a coin story, it's a wake-up call. Back in 1955, America was booming. Families were building homes, dreaming big, and trusting the system. At the U.S. Mint, millions of wheat pennies were struck that year in Philadelphia. No mint mark, nothing unusual at first glance. But behind the scenes, something extraordinary happened. A rare and dramatic minting error slipped through quality control, creating what would later become one of the most demanded penny varieties in American history. And at the time, no alarms, no headlines, just pennies moving through everyday life. Here's where the story gets serious. The 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny error isn't just collectible. It's legendary. The doubling visible on the date and lettering wasn't subtle. It was bold, obvious, almost shouting from the coin itself. And yet, these error coins entered circulation. That mistake, one single moment in history, created a class of pennies that elite collectors now compete aggressively to own. Let me ask you something, and be ready, because this question changes how you see your own coins. If a single error can turn 1 cent into hundreds of thousands of dollars, what are the odds that you or someone in your family crossed paths with one? Think about old coffee cans, inherited collections, desk drawers, safety deposit boxes. Funny how old junk suddenly doesn't sound so ordinary anymore. Today, pristine examples of the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny error have reached jaw-dropping prices, with top-tier specimens approaching $699,000 in the current collector market. Not because of hype, not because of trends, but because demand keeps rising while supply is permanently locked. No more are being made. No more will ever appear. Every year, more collectors enter the market, and fewer coins are available. And here's the part most people miss. Collectors don't hesitate. They move fast. When a genuine example surfaces, it creates a ripple effect. Dealers call each other. Auctions heat up. Prices climb. The market doesn't wait for indecision. It rewards those who act with confidence. Let's interrupt this for a second with a little humor, because it matters. Imagine explaining to your younger self that one day, a penny would outperform most stocks, real estate deals, and savings accounts. You'd probably laugh, and then wish you'd listened. But the opportunity isn't gone. It's just hiding. This is where excitement meets urgency. Right now, we're living in a moment where rare American coins, especially iconic errors like the 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny, are in exceptionally high demand. Wealthy collectors, investors, and legacy builders are actively searching. They're not browsing, they're hunting. And when something rare appears, the market responds instantly. Fear has a place here, not panic, but awareness. The fear of missing what could already be yours. The fear of waiting too long. Because the truth is, coins don't announce themselves. They sit quietly, waiting for someone informed enough to recognize their value. That someone could be you. Think about what that kind of discovery represents. Not just money, but freedom, options, security, a lifestyle upgrade that didn't require working longer hours or taking bigger risks. Just knowledge, timing, and action. This is how wealth quietly changes hands in America, through assets most people overlook. So here's the final thought I want you to sit with. The 1955 no-mint mark wheat penny error isn't just a collectible. It's a symbol. A reminder that opportunity doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes it looks like a brown coin with wheat ears on the back. And right now, demand has never been stronger, attention has never been higher, and the market has never been clearer about one thing. Exceptional coins command exceptional money. Before you scroll away, before you assume this doesn't apply to me, take a moment. Check your coins. Ask the question. Because the difference between those who hear stories like this and those who profit from them is action. And history has already proven what this penny is capable of. They told you it was just a penny, something you toss into a jar, something you leave behind at the gas station. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking coin, minted in the United States in 1956, has been connected to values approaching $896,000, and most people would never recognize it if it were sitting in their own pocket? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you may look at every old penny you own very differently. And yes, this could be the moment that separates those who know from those who miss out. This story begins in mid-century America. The year is 1956. Eisenhower is president, Elvis is on the radio, and prosperity is sweeping across the nation. The U.S. Mint is striking millions of 1-cent coins, each bearing Abraham Lincoln on the front and the iconic wheat stalks on the back. These wheat pennies were never meant to be rare. They were meant to circulate, to be spent, to disappear into history. But here's where things get interesting, because sometimes history makes mistakes. And when it does, collectors pay attention. Big attention. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how the most valuable things in life are usually hiding in plain sight? Your keys when you're late, your glasses when they're on your head, and sometimes a fortune sitting quietly in an old coin collection. The 1956 wheat penny with a mint mark error is one of those moments. A moment where a tiny deviation during the minting process transformed an everyday object into a highly sought-after treasure. And while millions were produced correctly, only a microscopic number escaped the mint with dramatic errors that would later ignite fierce demand among elite collectors. This is where Act 2 begins, the chase. Because when error coins enter the market, they create a different kind of energy. Errors are not defects. In the numismatic world, they are signatures of rarity. Double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, wrong planchets, these are not flaws, they are fingerprints. And certain 1956 wheat pennies displaying extraordinary mint anomalies have been tied to valuations that shock even seasoned professionals. We're talking about coins that have changed hands quietly, privately, and strategically, because the smartest money doesn't always make headlines. Here's the part most people don't realize. Value in rare coins isn't just about age. It's about scarcity plus demand plus timing. And right now, demand is on fire. Baby boomers, high net worth collectors, and private investors are aggressively acquiring tangible assets. They want history. They want legacy. They want something real. And wheat pennies, especially rare error examples from the 1950s, check every one of those boxes. This is why whispers of near seven-figure valuations don't sound crazy inside elite collector circles. They sound inevitable. And just to reset your attention for a second, imagine explaining to your family that the penny they laughed at paid for your dream home. Funny how fast people stop laughing, right? That's the power of knowledge. And knowledge is exactly what separates opportunity from regret. As we move deeper into this story, understand this. Many of the most valuable 1956 era pennies were never found by professionals. They were discovered by everyday Americans. People cleaning out drawers, inheriting collections, or simply paying attention when everyone else wasn't. Fear enters the picture here, because once you understand what's possible, ignoring it becomes uncomfortable. What if you already own something extraordinary? What if the window to sell at peak demand is right now? And that brings us to Act 3, the decision. Because markets move in cycles, but legends are created by those who act decisively. The current coin market is not casual. It is aggressive, competitive, and fueled by serious money. When collectors are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a single cent, it sends a message loud and clear. Rare coins are no longer hobbies, they are assets. And the 1956 wheat penny with a true, verified mint error sits in a category that commands attention, respect, and urgency. This is not about hype. This is about positioning. The people who win in this space understand that timing matters. They understand grading, authentication, and strategic selling. They don't wait for everyone else to catch on. They move while demand is strong and supply is nearly invisible. Because once a coin is locked away in a private collection, it may not resurface for decades. If ever.so, here's the real question. Are you going to keep assuming your old pennies are just change? Or are you ready to look at them like an investor, like a curator of American history, like someone who understands that wealth sometimes whispers before it roars? The 1956 wheat penny is not just a coin. It's a reminder that opportunity doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it sits quietly, waiting for the right person to recognize it. And in a market where verified examples have been associated with values nearing $896,000, the only real risk is doing nothing. Picture this for a second. A single penny. Not a gold bar, not a stock certificate, not a crypto wallet. A penny you could have ignored, dropped in a jar, or spent on candy decades ago, quietly holding the power to rewrite a family's financial story. And here's the uncomfortable question most people don't like to ask themselves. What if the most valuable asset you'll ever own has already passed through your hands, and you never even looked at it? This is not a fairy tale. This is America, 1957. Eisenhower is in the White House, Elvis is on the radio, and the Denver Mint is striking millions of wheat pennies every single day. Ordinary coins for ordinary people. Except, not all of them were ordinary. Hidden among those pennies was a mistake. A rare, explosive error that collectors now hunt with almost surgical focus. And today, the 1957 wheat penny error has become one of the most talked about Lincoln cents in the United States, with whispers and documented discussions of values climbing toward the jaw-dropping range of $600,000 and beyond. Act 1 is about comfort. The comfort that makes people miss opportunity. Back in 1957, no one at the grocery store was checking mint marks. No one at the gas station was studying die errors. These pennies moved fast, hand to hand, pocket to pocket, completely invisible. And that's where the danger lies, because comfort creates blindness. Let me ask you something slightly uncomfortable, but important. How many jars, drawers, cigar boxes, or inherited collections are sitting in American homes right now, untouched, assumed worthless, simply because they look old but common? If that makes you a little uneasy, good. That feeling is awareness waking up. Now here's where excitement kicks in. The Denver Mint mark, that tiny D under the date, is the key. Certain 1957 wheat pennies were struck with dramatic errors. Misaligned dies, doubled elements, off-center strikes, and other anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint. These weren't supposed to survive, yet they did. And collectors today don't see a penny when they see one of these coins. They see history frozen in copper. They see scarcity. They see demand. They see competition. And competition is where prices explode. Let's interrupt ourselves for a moment. Be honest. If I handed you a penny right now, would you even look at it? Or would you say, "Nice try," and walk away? That reaction is exactly why fortunes slip through fingers. Humor aside, this is serious business. High-level collectors, auction houses, and private buyers are aggressively searching for elite error coins, and they are not patient. When a true, high-grade 1957 error penny surfaces, the energy shifts instantly. Phones ring. Offers stack. The market moves fast, and hesitation is expensive. Act 2 is where fear and urgency step into the room. Because time is not neutral. Coins don't improve by being ignored. Families pass away. Collections get sold in bulk. Rare coins get mixed into common lots and disappear again for decades. And here's the fear most people don't talk about. Selling too late or selling to the wrong person can cost you generational money. A coin connected to six-figure demand doesn't belong in a flea market tray or a rushed pawn deal. It belongs in front of experts who understand how to position it, certify it, and expose it to serious buyers. And yes, people laugh when they hear numbers like hundreds of thousands of dollars attached to a penny. Until they stop laughing. Until they see the auction records. Until they realize collectors don't buy metal, they buy rarity, story, and error. The 1957 VDB Wheat Penny error checks all three boxes. It's not hype, it's demand. Demand fueled by limited supply and an aging generation of collectors who are willing to pay aggressively to secure the best examples while they still can. Here's a quick mental reset. If this were a painting, no one would question the price. If this were a rare baseball card, people would nod and say, "Makes sense." But because it's a penny, people hesitate. That hesitation is opportunity in disguise. Wealth rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the bottom of a drawer. Act 3 is about transformation. This is where the story stops being about a coin and starts being about a decision. The people who change their financial trajectory are not always the ones who earn more. They're the ones who recognize value earlier and act decisively. Selling a rare penny at the right moment, through the right channels, can fund retirement, eliminate debt, or create the freedom to live on your own terms. That's not fantasy. That's strategy. Right now, the market for rare U.S. error pennies is hot. Interest is strong. Competition is real. And the conversation around elite 1957 VDB Wheat Penny errors has never been louder. Values discussed at the top end, approaching the high six figures, exist because demand is relentless and supply is razor thin. When collectors want something badly enough, price becomes secondary. So here's the final question, and it matters more than all the others. Will you stay comfortable and assume, or will you take 5 minutes to look, verify, and position what you already own? Because the difference between a penny and a legacy is knowledge, timing, and action. And the people who win in this market are the ones who move while others are still laughing. That humble wheat penny doesn't need to shine. It doesn't need to impress anyone at first glance. It just needs the right eyes at the right moment in a market hungry for exactly what it is. And if that coin is already in your possession, this might be the most profitable wake-up call you'll ever receive. Picture this for a moment. Somewhere in America right now, a single copper penny is quietly sitting in a jar, a drawer, maybe even between couch cushions, and it carries the kind of value that can change a family's financial destiny. Not $10, not 10,000. We're talking about a 1957 United States 1-cent wheat penny with no mint mark. A coin that, in its rarest error form, has reached valuations approaching $923,000. And here's the unsettling question that should already have your attention. What if you've already touched one and didn't even know it? This story begins in 1957, at the height of American industrial confidence. Eisenhower was president, the post-war economy was booming, and pennies were being struck by the millions at the Philadelphia Mint. So many, in fact, that most people never gave them a second glance. No mint mark meant ordinary, or so everyone thought, because buried inside that sea of copper was a microscopic mistake. The kind of mistake collectors dream about and auction houses whisper about behind closed doors. The kind of mistake that turns pocket change into generational wealth. History has a funny sense of humor like that. Sometimes the most powerful assets look the most insignificant. Now let's talk about fear for a second. Not panic, awareness. The fear of missing out. Because every year, rare pennies are accidentally spent, donated, or tossed away. People unknowingly trade a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for a cup of coffee. Imagine that realization hitting later. Painful, right? And yet it happens more often than anyone likes to admit. Coin errors don't announce themselves. They don't glow. They sit quietly, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. And that's why knowledge, right now, is leverage. Here's where excitement kicks in. The 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny becomes extraordinary when a specific mint error is present, subtle, technical, and absolutely lethal in terms of value. We're talking about precision flaws created during the striking process, errors that were never meant to leave the mint. When authenticated and preserved in elite condition, examples like these have been valued in the high six figures, with reports of private and auction-level valuations nearing $923,000. That's not hype, that's demand. Serious demand. The kind fueled by high-net-worth collectors who understand scarcity better than anyone. Quick pattern interrupt. Be honest. When was the last time a penny made your heart race? Exactly. And yet here we are. That's the beauty of this market. It rewards the people who pay attention while everyone else scrolls past. Rare coin collecting isn't about luck. It's about recognition. The wealthy don't chase obvious assets. They hunt overlooked ones. And nothing is more overlooked than a 1-cent coin. As we move deeper into this story, the urgency becomes impossible to ignore. The supply is permanently capped. No more 1957 wheat pennies will ever be made. No new mint errors will magically appear. Meanwhile, demand keeps rising as tangible assets outperform inflation-sensitive paper wealth. Collectors, investors, and legacy builders are all competing for the same finite pool of coins. That imbalance creates pressure, and pressure creates price explosions. The smart money already knows this. The question is whether you act before the window narrows further. Let's add a little perspective. People chase cryptocurrency swings, volatile stocks, and risky trends hoping for overnight success. Meanwhile, a quiet, government-issued artifact, backed by history, scarcity, and collector obsession, keeps appreciating without asking for permission. There's something poetic about that, isn't there? A penny doing what most portfolios can't. And yes, it's almost funny. Abraham Lincoln on the front, silently judging everyone who ignored him for decades. Now comes the turning point, the moment where curiosity becomes action. If you're sitting on old pennies, especially wheat pennies from the 1950s, you are no longer a casual observer. You are a potential asset holder. The difference between a penny worth 1 cent and one worth hundreds of thousands of dollars comes down to awareness, authentication, and timing. This is not the market to procrastinate in. Coins that surface today can disappear into private collections tomorrow, never to be seen again. Imagine what selling the right coin could do. Debt gone. Freedom unlocked. Options restored. Wealth doesn't always arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it arrives disguised as something you've ignored your entire life. And the people who win are the ones who recognize the signal before the crowd catches on. That's how rare coin wealth has always been built. Quietly, intelligently, decisively. So here we are at the final act. You now know what most people don't. You understand that the 1957 no-mint mark wheat penny, in its rare error form, is not a curiosity, it's a high-demand asset. You understand that valuations nearing $923,000 are not fantasies but reflections of scarcity meeting serious money. And you understand that every day you wait, someone else is learning the same lesson and moving faster. One last question to sit with you after this video ends. If life really does change over small decisions, what happens when the decision is as small as a penny? Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in the palm of your hand. A coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it could transform your life in ways most people only dream about. I'm talking about the 1958 no-mint mark 1-cent wheat penny, a coin so elusive that collectors across the country would give anything to own it. But here's the kicker. Most people have walked past this coin, never realizing that in their pocket, drawer, or old collection, they might be sitting on a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this legendary penny, uncovering why it's worth a staggering $765,000 in today's market. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll see coins and money entirely differently. But first, let me ask you, have you ever glanced at an old coin and thought, nah, it's just a penny? Well, what if that tiny copper disc could open doors to a life most only see in movies? Stick with me, because what I'm about to reveal could be your gateway to unimaginable wealth. The 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny is not just rare, it's a phenomenon. Most pennies from this era were stamped with the Philadelphia Mint mark or other identifiers. But the no-mint mark version? It's one of the rarest anomalies in modern coinage. It's the kind of coin that whispers history and shouts value at the same time. Collectors, investors, and even museums clamor for it, and the demand has never been higher. Picture this. A coin that survived decades in circulation, unnoticed in your grandparents' jar of pennies, suddenly becoming a golden ticket worth over $750,000. The fear of missing out is real. Every day, more collectors are snapping up these rare coins, and every day, the chance to claim one slips further away. The market for rare coins is not just competitive. It's a race against time. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Really? And yes, I get it, it sounds almost comical. But let me remind you, this isn't just any penny. This is the kind of coin that makes headlines, the kind that sells in the hundreds of thousands, the kind that changes lives. If you have a 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny, even if it's tucked away in a dusty drawer, it could be the key to a financial windfall you never imagined. And here's the truth. Opportunities like this don't come around often. The market is hungry, the collectors are relentless, and the value of rare coins is only climbing. That $765,000 valuation is not just a number. It's proof that the right penny in the right hands can be life-changing. But you have to act. You have to look at your collection, dust off the old jars, the boxes, the drawers, and examine every coin with the possibility that it could be worth more than your car, your vacation home, or even your retirement savings. And think about this. What if your old coin collection isn't just nostalgia, but the start of a legacy? Selling a rare penny isn't just about money. It's about unlocking doors, fulfilling dreams, and stepping into a lifestyle you've always deserved. Imagine the excitement of holding a coin and knowing that in the right moment, it could transform your life forever. Before you go, consider this humorous but important thought. Every time you toss a penny into a fountain, someone else might be using that very coin to buy their first $1 million coin. Don't let that be you. This isn't about luck. It's about awareness, timing, and taking bold action. So, if you own a 1958 no-mint mark wheat penny, don't ignore it. Don't underestimate it. Don't wait. The market is ready, buyers are active, and your opportunity to claim a life-altering fortune is here. It's not just a coin. It's history. It's wealth. It's your moment. And the time to act is now.